Good morning. Thank you, React Miami, for inviting me here. And before I start, I always do this one corny joke. So when do developers go broke?
Magic the Gathering.
It is. It could be. Answer is when they run out of cash. Well, speaking of cash, part of this talk is about caching. So yeah, again, I'm Devlin Duldulao. I grew up in Manila. I moved to Oslo 7 years ago. And I wrote a book and co-wrote 2 other books during the pandemic because I had nothing to do and nowhere else to go. I'm the content reviewer of React course in Certificates Dev. What else? Clicker. OK. Lastly, I started using and teaching TanStack Query 5 years ago. You can see there's a commit. And I presented all the features of TanStack Query in these 2 recorded videos. Here they are. If you want to see them later, unfortunately, I can't do the same full demo here of TanStack Query because I only have 25 minutes. So I'm here to present my topic titled 10x React Development with TanStack Query, HeyAPI, and Coding Tools. And I will show 2 new experimental features in TanStack Query to give you something new. Then we will move on to HeyAPI and how I use AI from last year until now. So cache can do many things, right? Not that cache, this cache, which I think is underrated in web and mobile front end. Why? While caches can be implemented as physical hardware components such as CPU caches, from a software perspective, caching is fundamental architectural pattern that improves system performance and efficiency. You can see here that there's caching happening in your laptop CPU here, and OS, in load balancer, in CDN, in API gateways, in your Redis distributed cache, in full text search, in the message broker, and of course in, for example, relational database instance. So this caching is designed to improve users' experience, right? But we often take it for granted because it's always been there to us. So why not cache your server state? Maybe front-end developers don't know how. So TanStack Query is known for its powerful data fetching and caching capabilities, offers several benefits that can significantly enhance the performance and user experience of your applications. Now let's take a look at several benefits. So automatic caching and retries, it's built in. Optimistic updates, you can do that. It's going to be quick. Stale while revalidate, so no more spinners or loaders. Your app states in the UI are still visible when they are not fresh, but it is being updated in the background. And you also have this background refetching, which happens automatically. Offline support, prefetching, fetching server state in advance. Query invalidation, you do it manually if you mutate something. Query deduplication, so ensuring that only one network request is made even if the same query is fired multiple times within a short period. OK. What else? Custom garbage collection, time and stale time. So this gives you fine-grained control over the trade-off between data freshness and performance. Infinite queries and pagination. I did it myself manually before, 4 years ago, and I faced a lot of bugs. Just don't do it. Just use TanStack Query. So what I'm going to show you is this currently marked as experimental broadcast query, stream query. So broadcast query client syncs query cache across same origin tabs, right? Same origin. Whereas stream query renders data progressively from an async iterable, often produced with an async generator using yield, those weird functions. So I just need to mention a few things. Window, tab, and iframe context in the broadcast channel can subscribe to a particular channel by constructing their own broadcast channel with the same name. enabling bi-directional communication between same origin context. It came from this developer Mozilla org docs. The other one also came from Mozilla. Definition, streams API, the HTTP request can already be 200 OK, and after the first usable chunk, when I say usable chunk is the first data that you can use to render in the UI. So TanStack Query can already be in success, right? While fetch status is different, still stays fetching because the response stream has not ended yet, which makes sense. OK, experimental features demo. I think I need to put this in stop extending. And there's some lag. And screen mirroring. Maybe this one. OK. Choose content. Yes, we're back. OK. But, OK, I think I need to exit and show this. That's the easiest. Oh, fine. OK, we're back. An example here is I heard it's a known website. It's called GitHub. And we have these 3 tabs here. So what I'm going to do is, OK, I changed my mind. I don't want dark theme. I'm going to light theme. And going to other tabs, it's still dark, right? Well, you can do better. Example here, we're going to use broadcast query client. And actually, this is an experimental, but I'm using it in production, and my manager really likes it. So changing the theme here, so everything is dark. Go light, and kabam, it's light also. I mean, I heard good things about it, and they like it, the users of my application, where this is, you don't have to reload, right, the other tabs just to see the changes. And I'm using broadcast channel to do that. So code is very basic and very simple. Import broadcast query client, which is, maybe I'm just going to show it here. And then tied it within your query client instance by using this broadcast query client, broadcast channel, the name, and this is going to relay any changes in the cache. So what you're going to do is just use this set query data, and it will just relay the cache, the changes in that cache to this broadcast query client, and then fire it to different tabs. And I'm using that custom hook. As you can see, I'm just set theme to different themes. So very simple broadcast channel, and it's, in my opinion, it's useful. Second experimental is stream query. It's just stream function generator. That's it. And use case of this would be, in my opinion, stream query. OK, the boring AI chatbot. So I'm going to just simulate what I'm going to write here. And then, so use case, if you have a chat app using LLM, so stream query. So those are 2 experimental that you can use. Yeah, now we can move on to, I think it's going to switch to, yes, slide. TanStack, TanStack Query truly provides UX and DX improvements, right? But we can push it more. HeyAPI, it's code generation tool that reads an open API specification, for example, your Swagger, and produces a fully type-safe TypeScript client. Think of it as a bridge between your backend's API contract, the open API spec, and your front-end's TypeScript code. In short, an easy-to-remember definition will be HeyAPI turns your backend contract into a React-ready data layer. So what problem are we really solving here? So before HeyAPI, a front-end React dev team usually does this by hand. You want to do this? Write request types, write response types, write the fetch API calls, in my case, actuals, write the TanStack Query hooks, or query options. What else? Write Zod schemas separately and runtime validation if runtime validation is needed in forms. What else? Update all of that again when the API changes. That workflow looks normal at first, but it breaks down as the API grows, right? So what goes wrong? The front-end type drifts from the real back-end contract. The two developers model the same endpoint differently. Query keys become inconsistent across the app. It is hard to monitor, by the way. Handwritten mutations and hooks repeat the same logic. A backend rename causes many small front-end fixes. So HeyAPI fixes the root cause. The front-end stops inventing its own contract and starts using the backend contract directly. So now we're going to move to HeyAPI demo. And yes, OK, we're here. I guess it's readable. So config file, this is just a very simple example of a config file, but you can customize a lot of here. So input, this is your open API spec. So I'm using a file in my root directory. Why? I want to see that the diffing, every time there's changes in the back end, my back-end developers would say, oh, Devlin, we changed something, no problem. I'm going to run it again. And I would see it in the diffing. If there's green, meaning there's something that's been added. If there's red, something has been removed, which is good. So HeyAPI will parse this, and then it will use default plugins that generates types and SDK. I'm using here Axios. This is my opinion. This is just my preference. Axios is already an abstraction of my fetch, so going to be lesser tokens usage for LLM. Also, the reason why I use YAML and not JSON, because of the extra curly braces that saves tokens again when dealing with LLMs. And then what else? Rec query. But if you're Vue.js or Angular developers, you can also use your own frameworks or UI library. It's here. And then you can use a validation library. In my case, I'm using Zod here for my rack hook forms. And then, before it will be saved in the directory that I indicated here, it will go to this post process. I'm using a linting here and a formatter, or xlint. You can use your ESLint or your prettier, in my case here, oxlint and oxfmt. So, yeah, the Swagger here, and then have my scripts. Maybe I should give it a go. Yep. So this is just like a railroad that I'm doing every Monday morning or Friday. I'm just going to run this. It's going to fetch in this URL that I indicated here, and then create this Swagger YAML. And then if I see this notification here, this badge here, meaning there's something changed in my backend, I have to see what I cannot say. OK. OK, so yeah, OK, so there's changes. That means I have to run the codegen again to recreate these types of whatever that I'm using for my TanStack query. So what we're going to do is just run this OpenAPI TS, which is basically just this. Very simple, and you can also configure that, add more flags. But OK, I'm just going to run it. And then now you can see there's changes. There are only 20 endpoints here, but on all application would have 300 endpoints, right? And if you have 300 endpoints, good luck with that, writing these types, these Zod, these interfaces, these rec query keys. Anyways, let's see what has been generated here. When I first write it, I don't give a damn in what are these files. I'm just interested in using hooks right away, right? So in real world, you'll be importing types from this public barrel export. And then sometimes you would export ZOD validation for ZOD resolvers of your forms. But React Query here is the one that this is the integration, TanStack Query React for your application, right? So here you can see that, maybe I can do this, that it generates query key for you. It's using options and mutation, options. This is really good. Why? Right, you can use this, wait, I hate that. You can use this in your React Router loader function to trigger prefetching, or to your TanStack Router, right, in route level. Now you can, it's very flexible. You can put it in also inside your suspense hook to trigger this skeleton waving. So really good. All best practices, regenerate every time there's changes in the backend. It's awesome. In my case, I counted all the generated lines of codes here, and that's around 8,000 lines of codes. It saves a lot of time, imagine that. And time means money, right? So that's why when I was like, wow, this is really great. It just works. So that's demo of HeyAPI. I can't explain everything here. It's just low-level shared utilities. This is the HTTP client infrastructure and the singleton client that you are going to use. We don't have much time. Now I can go back to the slides. So I'm so happy using HeyAPI that I decided to support it by sponsoring it, and will continue to use it in all my future projects. There are also well-known companies, actually, that are using HeyAPI. One of them is Vercel, and they mention it in one of their blog posts. So now we can move to AI coding assistant. Create agents, MD, and skill MD files for existing projects. So last year, around May, or yeah, when I started the project, I was dragging HeyAPI CodeGen files and copying and pasting save prompts into the AI helper window to guide the AI and avoid hallucinations when editing my code. But now I use agents.md and skill.md files, because these are industry standard conventions for providing context to AI coding agents, and saves a lot of time, because it automatically included in prompts you send to LLMs. Okay, maybe I can show it to you really quick. Agents empty. So I generated this after we released the project already, and I did a lot of best practice in TanStack Query and React, and then just dictated here, so LLM will just use this as a guide and how it will write future features and refactors, even tests here. So this is how the patterns. You can see also here, I'm not blocking the route when using application get options. So yeah, highly advisable, use agents.md. Now let's go back here. What else? TanStack intent for new projects. TanStack intent is a CLI for shipping and consuming agent skills as package artifacts. It is embedded inside node modules, which provides version alignment, staleness prevention, automatic discovery, and more. And don't use LLM to generate codes for API clients. Coding models' response are not consistent. You will burn a lot of tokens, and it's slow. So it doesn't make sense to use that LLM. Right tool for the right job. So key takeaways. Time here, OK. In HeyAPI, it removes boring work, not important. It fits how modern React apps already work. It reduces integration bugs. It scales better than handwritten hooks. Resources, so my My GitHub repos are here, TanStack Query 2026 demo. Another one is HeyAPI, HeyAPI.dev for the docs, agents.md for the docs, TanStack.com intent. Take a look at that, and some best practice in how to write query abstractions. So there you go. I hope you will try it, and you'll never go back. I promise you that. Peace out, and thank you.